What's the word, YouTube fam? Welcome back to the channel. You are now tuning into Wait a Minute TV with your host Jay Wade. And I just got done binge watching Black Mirror season 7. And this season, by far, out of all of them, in my personal humble opinion, is the best season. Black Mirror has taken its commentary on the future of technology alongside the future of social evolution to the next level with this season, especially this episode. Season 7, episode 2, entitled Bête, Noire, is my favorite episode of the entire season, hands down, which says a lot considering the fact that I thoroughly enjoyed episode 6 of season 7, entitled USS Callister. I'm going to give you all my initial thoughts and reaction to this episode, along with what I thought the ending meant. Now, I must warn you all, before I continue, that this is going to be a spoiler-filled review. So, if you haven't seen the episode yet and would like to, go ahead, pause this video, go ahead, watch that episode, and then return here for the spoiler-filled review. With that being said, let's get right into it. In the second episode of Black Mirror Season 7, titled Bête Noire, the narrative follows Maria, a culinary researcher at a chocolate company who encounters unsettling changes after her former schoolmate, Verity, joins the company. Initially, Maria notices discrepancies that only she perceives, such as sudden renaming of a familiar chicken restaurant and alterations to her work that damage her professional reputation. Her concerns are dismissed by colleagues who side with Verity, leading to Maria's isolation. Determined to uncover the truth, Maria investigates Verity's personal life, discovering a sophisticated quantum computer system capable of manipulating reality. Confronting Verity, Maria learns that Verity has been altering their shared reality for revenge, as Maria has bullied her in school. The episode culminates with Maria seizing control of the reality-altering technology, ultimately declaring herself the ruler of the universe. So, my initial reaction was that this girl, Maria, was just straight up hating on Verity the entire episode. Every time I looked up, she had something negative to say about Verity, and I'm just thinking in my head, like, damn, like, y'all used to go to school, you must have had some type of beef with Shorty or something, like, you know what I mean? It just was apparent to me, like, Shorty did not like her. So, as I'm watching this, it occurred to me to look up the definition of the title, because Bête Noire sounded like it was French, which I used to take French class, so I'm familiar with the term noir, meaning black. So some said, let me go ahead and look this up, which I did. And what I came to find out was very fitting to the entire episode. The term Bête Noire translates to black beast in French, but it's often used in English to describe something or someone that is particularly disliked or causes a great deal of annoyance or dread. The definition of this term was crucial throughout the entire episode. Not only do we come to find out that Verity was a Bête Noire to Maria, we also find out that Maria was a Bête Noire towards Verity, which I found extremely funny as I realized that's what the phrase meant. So it's revealed why Maria dislikes Verity. We come to find out that, of course, she was bullied in high school, and Verity was considered a lame, or what us Chicago folks would refer to as a goofy. This pretty much caused her, of course, to again be bullied and picked on by every kid in the school. And that it was definitely including Maria, who ended up creating a very disturbing and nasty rumor about Verity that she had some kinds of intimate relation with one of the school teachers, which is, in all honesty, dangerous to the reputation of Verity, but also definitely damaging to the reputation of the school teacher, which I found kind of disgusting. But as it was said before, kids just gonna be kids and they don't know what they're doing. But I don't know. After a certain age, you kind of know what you're doing, right? So, throughout the episode, seeing things constantly get stranger and stranger with Maria and her reality, we see that Verity is really at her job to get her get back. I really did like how horror like this episode was. For a minute, I'm thinking like Maria just making all of this shit up in her head and she got to be a psych patient or something or mentally off or something because everybody is saying one thing and she's feeling another. But what really threw me for the loop was when, at the beginning of the episode, if you all remember, the hat that was sitting on the countertop that was owned by Maria's boyfriend was spelled Barnies. And then later, it was spelled Bernies. Once I saw that, I said, yeah, no, something's up. And it also was, I believe, a nod to the Mandela effect. And for those of you all who don't know or aren't familiar with the Mandela effect, it's pretty much when people remember history or past events differently from what the actual past event was. I.e., there's an article that people remember from the past of Mandela himself dying back in the 80s, but he never died in the 80s. He died more recently, I want to say in the either early 2000s or 2010, somewhere in that area. But it definitely wasn't the 80s. And so that is essentially what the Mandela effect is. And I believe that that was a nod to it. And later, as we are revealed, that the piece of technology that Verity is using to alter reality is essentially pulling from the multiverse, which I have a grand appreciation for them even turning this episode into a multiversal episode for a plethora of reasons. After Verity slowly turns everyone against Maria, she follows Verity home and it's revealed to her that Verity has been using a device that is connected to a quantum compliant computer that has access to every single infinite outcome in the multiverse, which she uses to alter their versions of Earth's reality. I'm gonna let y'all sit on that one for a minute. What's crazy is I am heavily into the concept of multiple universes and string theory. I have personally seen articles circulating around about big tech companies creating quantum computers that are so advanced that they can access the entirety of the multiverse. Now, granted, this is all theory, but the fact that this was even put into an episode was something that I greatly appreciated, considering the fact that this is a topic that I am heavily into and I have heavily researched. I thought that them using this technology in the episode was extremely creative and it blew my mind. We even see that Verity has been using this technology to essentially live 1,000 lives all in one lifetime, which is truly remarkable because now she's essentially a multiversal villain. So in the end, it's looking like it's all over for Maria, and that all hope is lost, and that she's finally going to reap what she sowed by tormenting Verity throughout high school. And as she's about to get arrested, because again, Verity is using this device to alter reality, and she ends up altering it to get the police to come into her house and arrest this girl. We see that Maria takes an instinctive and abrupt course of action, takes the cop's gun off his hip and shoots Verity in the head with it, and then takes the device and ends up using it for her own betterment. And now she's in control of the device and makes herself empress of the universe. What I think this ending really was about always having power, and that no matter who has power, I believe power is always going to be used inappropriately. We see that in the high school, the kids who were popular misused their popularity, which is a form of power, to antagonize those less powerful than them. We see that in order to get her get back, Verity misused her power. And that was in order to get back, of course, but it was still nonetheless misused. And then we see that even when Maria had the ability to do something to correct her wrongs, when she finally got the device, she instead used it to gain absolute power and literally become the goddess of the universe. And I think that Maria is going to continue to misuse that power, and that at the end of the day, she didn't really learn her lesson. She made fun of this girl, drug her through the mud, and then ends up killing the girl. And don't get me wrong, I think that it was truly justified why Verity felt the way she felt, even though she was overdoing her part for the most part. But I also have to look at Maria and say, you caused it on yourself, and you can't use being a child as an excuse, because there were other kids that knew better than to be bullying on this girl. But it's all about power at the end of the day. You could see that throughout the entire episode. But y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments. Please like, share, and subscribe if y'all like this content. And until next time, YouTube fam, I'm out.